truth. Hey, don't you get in my way. I don't care what they say. I just have to be me, individual. Tell me why I have to be anything I don't feel. All I wanna be is individual.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
26 of the best open-wheel drivers in sim racing come together to compete for the Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series Championship and the $10,000 grand prize that comes along with it. In 10 weeks' time, we find out who walks away defeated and who walks away a champion.
Nine races down. One race remains. This, the sanctum of sim racing, the Autodromo Nazionale Monza, a truly legendary track which has legendary status around the world and one of the few circuits that you can pinpoint and say, I want to win here. The perfect place to end the season here with us on iRacing. I'm Jake Sperry, I've got Peter Mackay, I've got Kenneth Bueno here along for the ride. Peter, history is a word that understates this place. This has been truly the most legendary circuit in terms of the world, one of the first ones here around the Royal Park of Monza, just 6 miles out from the city of Milan.
It's a temple of speed, a cathedral of speed. It's a superb venue and over 100 years old. It was the Automobile Club of Milan's answer to Brooklands and Indianapolis, and today we're going to go racing with some 900 horsepower single-seater beasts. Can't wait.
I tell you what, I can't wait either. And Kenneth, it has been a season top to bottom, which has been unpredictable to the last. We have had 3 two-time winners. Nobody has been able to stamp a mark of authority in the W column this season. But in terms of the championship column, there is one driver and one driver alone.
There is Przemysław Lemenek, the driver who has commanded the last half of this 2023 season. He leads by 30 points over your all-time. You can gain a maximum 26, 27 points. So Lemenek, without a points penalty, given the race today, would be the champion for this year. But the fight for second is going to be very fun. It is rather close between those drivers. About 4 or 5 points separate the driver second all the way back to 5th. So Jake, there's a lot more to fight for through the storyline of today's race from Monza.
Absolutely, there is a lot on the line, and these drivers are all looking to try and finish as high as they can in the course of this championship. But what a legendary circuit it is, and this is what they are racing for. The overall payout prize is $4,000 for second position, $2,000 for third. Unless we forget here, Peter, $300 bounty for the win.
Yeah, there's a lot of money to be handed out in this race tonight. Many of the drivers in there from second down to 6th can finish in any of those positions, so it's going to be super exciting to see who comes out on top. And here at Monza, we often get some great, thrilling photo finishes at the line.
We absolutely do, and this is the sort of circuit where drafting is critical around this track, and we're going to sense that today with the many long straights and the stop-start nature that this track so very often has. Kenneth, this is a tale as old as time. It hasn't been changed, this track, since the year 2000 when they added in the Rettifilo chicane to open out the lap, but this is truly a speed demon's paradise.
It's a timeless circuit here in Monza, and there are many different challenges to be had, whether it's the Lesmo curves at the top end of the circuit, all of the chicanes, the very fast Ascari section, then the last one, sweeping right-hander that leads you all the way to the long straight, kicking up at about 200 or so miles an hour to the hard braking zone in turn 1. This track, 3.6 miles, 11 turns, opened back in 1922. This track has been around for very long. It's provided legendary racing, had a legacy of its own, and we get to write a new chapter in it with this race today.
Legendary racing in Lombardia. I absolutely love it, and we are in for a treat. 28 laps today, and this is how they stack up after today's action in qualifying. Your champion has the pole position. A 119.862 will have Gail Valero alongside the company. Great qualifying from him today. Xabi Rose and Michele Costantini will house row 2, with 5th belonging to Michael Janney. His qualifying has been amazing recently. And Tamas Simon in 6th position. Manuel Kubo Torres and David Toth will be 7th and 8th, with Matt Emery 9th and Jarl Tyen, a good qualifying, surprising to say, for him in 10th position for Borosud. Then you've got Carlos Feniosa in 11th, the other Spaniard, Pablo Espes for Wave Italy in 12th position. That then follows Eduardo Leo and Daniel Civisciabo in 13th and 14th positions. Simone Maria Martino will go from 15th, along with Kalen Chin in 16th, with the Jacobs, Jacob and Jakob, Jacob Reed, Jakob Behrens, 17th and 18th positions. Florian Labigra will make a start here in 19th. He's got 2 wins to his name. He'll have Marcos Nunez with him in 20th, with Jeffrey Decker, Matteo Calistani, Charles Sears and Jan Hoffman making up rows 11 and 12. The last driver is Ben Fuller. He did not set a qualifying time, and as such will have to go from the back of the grid, see how many places he can gain around this legendary circuit. It's a 5.79 kilometer, 11 turn speed fest that they will have to deal with here today. And as the drivers populate themselves onto the grid, they have 2 minutes to do so, or they start from that place known as pit lane. This is one of the most treacherous runs in racing, and in sim racing in particular. Turn 1 and 2 is the most ultimate bottleneck you will ever see in your life. These drivers will be tiptoeing to the point where they'll be almost stationary at the back of this field, trying to run through the opening couple of corners. But this is where legends are made. There is still so much to race for, and 28 laps to decide who is a victor here at Monza. The lights then are going to be on, and we're going to get ourselves in for some amazing action, because the lights are out and we're underway. Tamas Simon gets a really poor start there from the 3rd row. So too does Xabi Rose, who finds himself going backwards. They will charge down to the Rettifilo for the first time. Everybody trying to find an angle here on the brakes, but it's clean to the front 3 drivers, about 3 wide there in the middle as everybody tries to go through. There's one driver in the back who's found the barriers. That then is Jakob Behrens, but aside from that, it's clean.
Very good start from Michele Costantini. Started from 4th up into 3rd, but he is qualified on the medium tyre. They've got drivers in front of him are on the soft, so Costantini in a very, very strong position right now in this early stage.
There are 5 drivers who started today on the soft tyres. Behrens, who found the wall, Rose, Lemonet, Janney and Valero. 2 drivers have slowed down penalties off of it. Daniel Civisciabo and Jacob Reed both having to serve that on the opening lap. But up the hill, past the Seraglio and up to the Ascari chicane. One of the most beautiful sections of road, Kenneth, you'll ever see.
But you have to tiptoe around it. Look at those turtle curves on the inside of each corner. You really have to be pinpoint accurate in where you place this car, and that will be a challenge as these laps go through and as fatigue sets in. Look at Xabi Rose diving underneath a 3-wide pass for 4th. He has it complete, but he will get the retaliation right on the rear wing, because Michael Janney and the driver behind, Manuel Kubo Torres, will have a chance to respond. Just part of the magic of racing here at Monza. You always get a chance to get back at the driver who passes you. Janney and Rose side by side to the first chicane.
To the Rettifilo, and move is made complete then with that pass. Xabi Rose past Michael Janney and making that look really comfortable. Top 3 ROA, Lemonet, Valero and Costantini here in this 28-lap race. Xabi Rose in 4th is holding the way to the world behind. You've got David Toth there as well, but let's take a look then at the start. Some slow starts through the field. Our focus is going to be on that green IGL Coatings racing car then of Jakob Behrens. So hitting the brakes then into the opening stage. 3 wide there down in front. Look how quickly it checks up there, Peter. And as he tries to put the power on, there's a Wave Italy car that gives him a little bit in the side.
Oh, so unlucky there for Behrens. It's the wrong place, wrong time, and so easy for it to happen at that turn 1, turn 2 complex there, that little chicane. It's so tight with so many cars going through there, and these Dallara IRO1s are wide as well, so very, very easy for that to happen. Just unlucky.
Absolutely, they're an incredibly wide car, Kenneth, but what they don't have is height. It's very much a case of it punches an incredibly low hole in the air every time it drives, as Costantini sits on the back of Gail Valero trying to work through, as we got brilliant side-by-side. Tamash Simon almost boxed in. Here comes the second of the wave Italy cars then, looking to try and make that progress. This is some incredible movement here in the middle of the pack.
And watch this 3 wide there. That was Kalen Chin, the other Wave Italy car on the inside. So they'll check up here for the first chicane, turns 1 and 2. Simon had a slowdown penalty on the last lap, so hence why Sibichabo and company were able to catch so closely to him, was because he had to give a little bit of time, and that will be something, Jake, that we'll watch for over this race. Drivers who get a little bit too greedy, entering the corners and giving those curbs to get as much speed as possible, they will be dealt with those penalties. We'll back them up. Could affect drafting groups in today's race, and then might tailor into strategy. We'll see how that fares, but for now, the group that did fight around 3 or so wide, they've singled out through the Lesmo curve.
Yeah, that strategy I think is going to be really important, because we might have an option of one between 1 stop and 2 stop. Tamash Simon then up the hill in the middle of this group for Veloce Vex, driving in virtual reality as he looks to try and really mastermind through everything. And I always find virtual reality such an important skill to have when you're out there driving, Peter, because when you're out there, you're pretty much blind to where your steering wheel is. You're entirely on feel on everything around you as he gets very close on the brakes there, right behind Kalen Chin.
And it does take a little bit of getting used to as well. It's if you suffer a little bit from motion sickness, it will take a bit of getting used to in those first couple of weeks of using it. But I'm reliably informed that if you break through that, it's a very, very cool piece of kit. I've used it once or twice myself, and I have to say, I felt rather queasy.
Oh, and speaking of which, Kalen Chin, I think, has just had a tap, but it's on right now here, second and third, and co, as they now look to try and push. Valero for SDK Gaming ahead of the Apex Racing team car of Michele Costantini, but the gap at the front, it's just skyrocketed out here, Ken. It's that 2.5 second spinner in the background there that's just gone through. It's got that in the back of shot. I think it's one of the Veloce Vex cars. It will be the other one. It's Matt Emery.
Yeah, Matt Emery went for a spin. He'll give up all the track position, and we'll try to dial up exactly what happened, but it appears might have been contact there with Manuel Kubo Torres. But with your look at Przemysław Lemenek holding on to the top spot, I mean, he's pulled out 3.2, 3.3 seconds on his soft tires, and he continues to get fast lap after fast lap after fast lap. It's part of the reason why. Second and third, Valero and Costantini, they're saving a bit. Lemenek pushing, as here's another look at what happened with Emery.
Well, heading through the Curva Grande, as it's known colloquially in English, into the Della Roggia. He gets over the curb and finds that he's trying to pinch down on that second apex as you go through the right hand to go back forward. I argue the question, where was Manuel Kubo Torres meant to go, as Xavi Rose makes the move through and jumps into second from relative nowhere.
Yeah, came all the way from 4th there. On the previous lap, he'd been 0.8 of a second quicker than Valero and Costantini, but I think they're playing a different game. I think Costantini's got more pace in that car than he's showing right now. I think it's very much a fuel-safe game for both Valero and particularly Costantini, because Costantini, he wants to extend this stint as long as it will go and switch onto the soft tyres for a charge late in the race, but in order to do that, he's got to soft pedal it in this first stint.
Yeah, you've always got to manage the tyres, and if you are there being very gentle to them, they will be rewarding you later on in this race. Race on for 8th position. This is Jarl Tyen looking at a move on Carlos Fenollosa for position. This would be to move up into that 8th place, and every position will matter for Jarl Tyen at this point if he wants second in the championship. His main rival here today will be the 41 of David Toft in 6th position, just a little bit further in front of him. That is going to be the crucial matter of fact. He's got to gain places here, Kenneth.
He does, and it all comes down to the cash prize you get at the end of the season. We're talking difference in thousands of dollars between second in the standings and 5th or 6th in the standings, where you only get about $450. Look at the move by Tyen on the inside of Carlos Fenollosa. Tried as much as he could entering turn 1. All for naught, though. They almost about stuffed it together. But Tyen does need to hold on, and Top does need to gain a lot of ground. He is definitely trying to at least get around a Tyen in terms of the amount of points he needs to gain, but it is rather close. It's fine margins you're looking at there.
It's surprisingly narrow around this circuit, as there is the look from the back of your race leader and series champion, the commander of Kamionka himself, Przemysław Lemonek. He looks absolutely in control. He's even got a little bit of a lip bite going on at the moment. He's concentrating, and he's quite happy with where he's going at this moment in time. Through the Ascari chicane. Look, they're gone. Absolutely gone. You can't even see them through Ascari. He's that far in front.
And that's the swagger of a champion, isn't it? You just know that you can do this. Pull away at the front, break the draft very, very quickly. And Lemonek, he's really using all of this soft tyre. I don't think he's doing any fuel saving, that's for sure. We expect these Dallara IR1 fuel tanks to last around 17 laps. I suspect Valero and Costantini are trying to stretch one more than that. Why would they do that? Well, they're trying to shorten the final stint and allow themselves to be able to use that to really get that soft tyre working, particularly in the case of Costantini.
Transit time, I think, is going to be really important. 22 seconds down in the lane. Any time you can spend less stationary in the box is advantage. Absolute pure advantage. Everyone's going to see big slide of torque oversteer off of the exit there as we get a look at our tyre strategies. And this is where you're starting to understand. Maybe this is why Lemonek's been so aggressive, being able to pull a gap so early here, Kenneth. Might be pivoting towards a two-stop strategy.
Perhaps option B is in the cards for the champion Lemonek, and it's a really interesting one because over the season we have not seen two-stop strategies really come into the foray. We've seen a lot of ovals where you pit multiple times, but on the road courses for the calendar, you do not see two stops often. It wastes you so much time, but Lemonek is in that place where he's got the championship locked up, barring any penalties. He can just do whatever he wants and take the risk, and as he's leading this race by about 5.5 seconds, he can extend that. My biggest concern is stretching the medium tires for all of these guys. They want to get to the end of the tank at lap 17 as far as these IRL1s can go on drops of fuel. Not sure if they'll lose the time, or it depends on who exactly is leading the group or who's in a group of drafting cars. That's going to be very interesting, but all of these medium tire runners, we should expect option A to be the category for them.
I'd say the temperature here is going to be crucial as this group now looks to fan out behind. Pablo Espes, Ben Fuller there, second group just in front now, also starting to trade and chase with Carlos Feniosa at the front of it, Leo, Tyen, and then you've got Manuel Cubo Torres on the back. Everybody is looking for position, and positioning is going to be the key word of the opening phase of this race, Peter, when you consider everyone wants to get onto pit lane first.
Well, speaking of positioning, I have a feeling that Valero might well be playing the team game for Costantini, because Valero really kind of out of the championship conversation. Really, that can't make too much of a difference. But Costantini can take a big jump up, and I wonder if Valero is maybe the sacrificial lamb here. He's on the soft tyre. You'd expect him maybe to be going a bit quicker than this. Costantini's on the medium and has just sat behind him the whole part of the first stint. So is Valero simply playing front gunner role for Costantini?
You mean to tell me, Peter, that a race car driver is not racing at this point in time, but more rather playing a role?
Yes, I think if you're part of a professional sim racing outfit, which Apex Racing SDK is, I think, yes, if you're told to do something, you will. Lemonek in, that confirms our theory of the two-stop, doesn't it?
It does. Built up a 6-second margin before jumping into the pits over the course of 8 laps, which is truly incredible. Will mean that the medium tire is going to be key. Side by side, Jarl Tyen on the outside almost overshoots it, as there is Lemonek. He'll have to do some overtaking. He's back in 18th position now, and he's got about 17 seconds to make up over the course of this race. Now, effectively, it's one stop for everyone from here. So this is the challenge that Lemonek's got. How do you make up 18 seconds in a race, Kenneth?
You're going to push with the two-stop, or you've got more tires in your back pocket. So if you can push as much as possible, then it'll certainly help. The problem here for Lemonek is that he's got no draft. I think that's certainly the hampering factor here for him as he rides all by himself across the circuit. But by the factor that he can push as much as possible with those medium tires, knowing that he's going to go to the softs at some point near the end of the race, he might just be a little more confident and comfortable in his strategy. And as everybody slowly but surely files in on pit road, Lemonek will have that chance to gain the position. So push, 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 the mindset for Lemonek now.
Eduardo Leo is going to be really interesting in this race. He's from Milan. He only lives about 6 miles away from Monza, so he knows inherently Peter, what this circuit is all about, what it means to go out here and tackle this one. Can't get more backyard than Eduardo Leo at this point, and he catches one driver being boxed in. He'll move out across to the inside, make a pass on Feniosa for position, and all of a sudden, the caboose of the train in sync. Tyan finds himself now 3 back in this group as Manuel Kubo Torres goes through, and Ben Fuller's group now joins the party.
Well, for Eduardo Leo, he got one, and he got one free there, straight through, 2 moves in one, with that big slipstream effect. And Tyan now just getting a little bit desperate after losing a couple of positions, and yeah, just losing a little bit of momentum. And look at the angry mob of superstars behind him. Tyan really under pressure here at 9th place.
Ben Fuller started at the back of the field. In 10 laps, he's got himself up to P10, and he's looking for a little bit more at this point, with Tyan playing Raggedy Ann at this moment in time, over left, over right, using all of the road. Ben Fuller is just absolutely on rails, and he'll bring the entire group with him at this point. Once you get overtaken once here, Ken, if you get overtaken 5 or 6 times, welcome to the freight train.
Yeah, you've got all the cars in the draft, and you just kind of have to go with the punches and roll with those waves. As we'll look here with Jacob Reed in the 31. He is now DNF'd from the race, and that's why out of the first Lesmo just got loose right into the inside wall. And it's somewhat what happened to Simone Maria Marceno, the second Altus Engineering car. He's out of this race on the second Lesmo. He went for a hellacious crash and went hard into the inside barrier, as here's Xavi Ros inside the top 3 at the moment, now in pit road, back to 16th on the soft tires.
Yep, so he will now make that change, and it looks like it was a long hold in the stop. 10 seconds it was in all there for Xavi Rose before he was off and away again. So he's got a lot of work to do to try and bring himself back forward in this race. He's now officially 10 seconds back of Przemysław Lemonek then at this point in time. So can he charge forward and gain a little bit of time, as he will be good to the end, you would think, from this point onwards. Still though, everybody in these groups are now looking around at each other. How much fuel have I got? What is my strategy? And will it pay dividends between now and the end of this race? I think that is the crucial matter of fact that everybody's going to be sat back waiting with here, Peter. But what do you do in this sort of situation? Where do you go? And how much are you willing to sacrifice now to gain later?
Well, that's the question. And Lemonek, he's definitely still the fastest driver on the circuit, although he's in 16th on the road at the moment. He only took 7.5 seconds worth of fuel in the stop, and as you mentioned, Xavi Rose quite a bit longer, 10.1. I think that solidifies the theory that that Lemonek is going to take a 2-stop strategy. More takers on pit lane, Valero and Gianni in. So Valero going for the soft and then medium strategy, likewise Gianni.
Yep, so the likes then of Gail Valero being down in on the pits, Michael Gianni as well, so Stormforce and SDK Gaming are both going to make the calls to try and make those stops. Now here comes the search again from Tyan, every single position mattering against Carlos Feniosa at this point, with, of course, Torres there just behind, and every time having to defend out then in towards the 2 right-hand Lesmo corners here. These 2 fast 90-degree right-handers, which absolutely, I would say, are the first 2 corners and maybe the last 2 corners that you desperately need the downforce, Kenneth.
You need all the downforce you can get, and like we've seen from Marceno and Reed, if you make just a little bit of a mistake and you outstretch a little too far, then your race is going to be considered over. So you really have to be careful, be very accurate on where you place the car. And Tyan, I mean, is still trying to hold on to this top 5. He's got David Toth just a couple of spots in front, so he's not fully out of that race when it comes down to second in the championship, but he needs all that he can get. And if he's going to get freight trained by the cars behind, then certainly he's going to be in a worse spot. So he's going to try to avoid that as much as possible. Look at the snake trailing on the front straightaway. Just how much draft works here, Jake, at a track like Monza heading into turn 1.
All of it. You want all of it, and it's never enough, is it? You always want that slipstream. That's why you see drivers move across to defend the line to try and break it, but everyone's going to follow you. It's very much like trying to play a game of tug of war, but everybody's making the rope go left and right and up and down and maybe slantways like you're in the Great Glass Elevator, but you're certainly always trying to hold on to that element. And again, everyone's pushing. Just look at Jarl Tyan off for the exit of the corners here, Peter. They're pushing.
They are pushing, but they're still not even close to the the lap speed that Lemonek's able to create is significantly faster than everyone else on the road right now. I'm really intrigued to see if this two-stop strategy is going to work or not, and if not, I tell you what, it's going to be a lot of fun finding out.
It will do. He'll be on a soft tyre to end the race, so he will be at his absolute fastest at that moment in time. He's only 1 second now off the back of that entire group, so he's going to be able to chase. Bit of side-by-side there as they fly on through, and that's just an illustration of the speeds that they carry through around this circuit. They're spending something like 80% of the time full throttle. Tamash Simon in with Matt Emery. Veloce Vex make the call now to make the stops as we got some more side-by-side as Feniosa and Leo swap it about.
One of the main groups to come in, Jake, that are a collective team. We saw SDK and Stoneforce come in collectively with Gianni and Valero, but here's the first time we really see two drivers out of the exact same team, Veloce Esports, coming in for their collective stop at lap number 14. This is the place where we're going to be expecting drivers to come in on pit road, especially on those medium tires. So on the window, Emery comes in. Now he's out. Looks like those are white-walled hard tires to get to the end of this race.
Those are hard tyres, and because they are hard tyres, it's going to be a very, very painful final stint, but you can't go soft. There's too much time that's lost in transit, and I think that's been the key to every driver's race. A little bit of side-by-side again, almost there in the background as Pablo Espes and Manuel Cubo Torres find themselves in line, looking for what they've got. Halfway will be score complete at the end of this race. Michele Costantini was able to hold with that group of soft runners, Peter, at the start of this race. He started on the medium tyres, though. That's the crucial matter of fact. Costantini's been able to build a gap.
He's been really impressive. I mean, that qualifying performance to be the top qualifier on a medium tyre and then stick with that main soft group, Prevesan, Lemonek aside, and look at Tyan. 2-4-1 as well after having lost a few positions a couple of laps ago. He's going to do it as well. David Toth into the pits, comes into this round third in the championship. Where can he finish?
Well, he's hoping second because he's been running pretty much best of the runners so far in the Arnage competition, pink and white, as he will now rejoin the circuit there. Going through will be Gail Valero and Michael Gianni. So that's an important latch point in the context of his race here, Ken. If he needed to find someone to work with, he's just found the next group in the train.
Yeah, he's got Gianni and Valero right in his crosshairs, and so that's really good news to at least get some draft. And also as well, for a driver like David Toth, who is just going to hang on here, wait for everybody up front to cycle through, he can save just a bit. He doesn't need to push all that hard, so if he can hang in the draft and just keep where he's at, he does not need to overextend. Thus, as these drivers come in where they're going to lose time and they're probably going to be pushing harder, Toth will have more tire life near the end of this race. So a pretty interesting call, and it pans out in his favor as we watch Jarl Tynan. I thought it was really interesting, Jake, that Tynan went for the 2-for-1 opportunity as soon as Toth went down pit road. It's almost like he knew the point situation, but he's going to come in all by his lonesome here on lap 16.
Yep, he's going to come in, he's going to make his pit stop and dive on through and do what he can. Ben Fuller, by the way, has just made the ultimate triple pass. He's up into third place now with the move, as there is Lemonek, and off the road. That's going to be Daniel Sibishabo.
Oh dear, that was it. That turn 1 and 2, the chicane there for Sibishabo, and Lemonek, that's a little bit of a freebie for him and gives him a little bit more free air, but the sea is kind of part in front of Lemonek over the next few laps, and he's pulled in. He came out of the pit 16 seconds behind the leader. He's now 11 seconds behind the leader, so he's making up that time.
Close as you like there, Ben Fuller and Eduardo Leo trading it about for third position. Leo running a little deep through to Della Roggia and here through to Saraglio and up the hill to Ascari, hoping that there is a defence, and there very much is then at this point in time. Ben Fuller has been uber aggressive off the road. Goes Fediosa, and he'll give everybody a place as he scampers across the junior circuit and back onto terra firma.
That was a massive save, though, from Feniosa. With these cars, you can easily get unsettled as you hop into the grass, but Carlos does a phenomenal job of holding on to that IRO1 and at least guaranteeing that he will survive at least one more lap. Feniosa, in the grand scheme of things, his last 3 races, Jake, 2 DNFs. Feniosa is looking to at least survive the rest of this one as Ben Fuller dives on the inside. Look at the 3 wide pass. Lemonek giving no prisoners here at this point.
Say goodbye, Feniosa. Say goodbye, Manuel Kubo Torres, as they drive it through the curve of Biasino. Here, this long right-hander, which is so famous. Lemonek now is just going to jump through the train. This is where everyone looks around and goes, well, what are you doing here? That's going to be their next question. What are you doing here? How are you so quick? And look at him. He's trying to find a pivot angle here through the 2 Lesmo corners. Huge kick goes Eduardo Leo, and everybody all of a sudden wake up. How do you defend? You attack. Here goes Pablo Espes to the outside.
Fantastic motorsport here from these drivers, as it has been all season, hasn't it? No matter what locations we've gone to, street circuits, ovals, road courses, it's just been fantastic. We've had so many different winners, and can Lemonek pull off the final card trick here? He's already the champion. He's going to go through here easily at the Alboreto curve, and the rest of the field are going to have to start pitting now. Lemonek doesn't need to.
Yeah, there was Feniosa on the bottom of your screen, just sliding it through the second part, and the third then becomes troubles. Here comes Lemonek as Fuller, Feniosa, and Nunez all come into the pits. Big, easy move, and the Big Easy is going to move up into second position with that 9.9 seconds to chase down the Kelly Costantini for the race win. Leo then with Espes behind, and out of the pits then will come these drivers. First and foremost, there is the apex car of Ben Fuller, number 55, back onto the power. He's behind Jarl Tyen. He'll be ahead of Tamash Simon, but crucially, he's got fresh air to work with.
And Fuller is on a set of Redwald soft tires, so he wants to push here for the end of this race on at least the maximum grip that he can get around this circuit. As we'll watch again, Eduardo Leo, Lemonek, and Espes pushing second, third, and fourth. And look how far Lemonek has been able to outreach on the 2 behind him. It didn't take him long to get around, just a couple of corners where narrowness is the key of the game. But as soon as he got by, well, he's been able to pull away. Lemonek is in a league of his own. Now watch this. Espes tries to move on the outside, can't quite do it. It's going to be more interesting to see where Leo and Espes come down pit road here, Jake.
Yeah, the question is when. In comes your race leader here, Michele Costantini. If you want a chance to race as brilliantly as these drivers, you can log on to iRacing.com today. Lest we forget that Black Friday deals are soon on the horizon, and you have a chance, of course, to keep an eye on what has happened this season and keep an eye on who's got points where. We're heading to iRacing.com/IRGP today. It leaves Przemysław Lemonek out in front, but not enough of a margin, you would feel, to go out and win this race outright. 13, 14 seconds, not enough. They're switching about now for third place. Gail Valero there with Michael Janney, there with David Toth, all looking at what can we get at this moment in time. Toth right now, I think it would be very interesting to see how many points he gets at this moment in time compared to Tyen, who is just 1 place behind him and 3 seconds, 4 seconds down the road.
I'm fascinated to see where Lemonek decides to make his pit stop. He's on the medium right now and clearly got fantastic pace compared to the rest of the field, but just think how quick he's going to be when he puts the soft on. But when does he go for that soft tyre? That's the question.
David Toth for Arnage competition, sat behind Michael Janney here under the oval bridge, and now looking up here at Ascari here, left, right, and then you just got to wait for the left because the dirty air, the vortexes, and the turbulences absolutely batter the car. Now you get the slipstream, and he's going to want one, but oh, he thought a lot better of it there, and that was a brave decision to lift out here at Curva Parabolica.
And we carry so much momentum, and if you do let off for a significant amount of time, boom, you've lost the draft. But Toth makes the smarter decision, and the call here is, here comes Janney, move underneath Gail Valero for position number 3, and he's got it. As we look at the further cars behind them, this is where Xavi Ross is in the middle of a hornet's nest. Kalen Chin for Wave Italy, Daniel Civicciabo, who makes the move now directly on the inside. These are for great positions as well. Look at Matt Emery, who went to the hard tires on his stop behind in a 4-car train.
Yeah, so everyone who's looking for places is going to find them. Searches there are plenty, with Gianni now up into third, Valero fourth, and David Toth in fifth. The chase is still very much on at this moment in time. Rushing through then here, the brilliant section of track here, these two fast right-handers, the Lesmo corners, which leads to the Seraglio, and back up the hill once again. This is where these drivers are playing the patience game. It is all about the numbers when you come to Monza. It is one of those circuits where you just go, well, it's a slipstream fest, so how much wind can I take off, and how long can I save for a little bit of fuel number, Peter?
Yeah, that's the compromise here at Monza. It's about as close to an oval style of track as you'll get on a road course, if that makes sense. It's really challenging to get the car set up correctly. 8 laps to go. Lemonnick in the pits.
Yep, so this is the two-stop in motion, as here is third, fourth, and fifth, and this has been the battle that Lemonnick would have wanted to come out with. 3 wide on the front stretch as Gianni backs out of it, tries the end-all brake maneuver. It won't mean anything as Toth finds himself in fourth and Valero third. Lemonnick's come out in 11th place here, and he's right on the back of this mega pack. Tamás Simon, the Hungarian, is the first port of call to write on the Lemonnick list.
And Lemonnick is going to need to trudge these very scary waters very quickly, as you'll get to the inside of Simon here heading into the chicane. And Lemonnick is going to have to carry a lot of patience. Not that we haven't seen it from him over this season, but in the waning stages of this race where he decided on this two-stopper, and he does want to win, of course, to lock up his championship campaign. He would certainly like it, but he just needs to be really patient and careful here through one of the most taxing parts of the circuit here at Monza. So he'll get up on Torres. He'll try to make this move here on the outside of Ascari. This is going to be really tough, though, to go up the hill and make that move. Almost a bit of contact. Lemonnick is going to force his nose there. We stay side by side. Lemonnick's in the gravel. He goes sideways, backs it into the guardrail, and that may be Lemonnick's race almost done and dusted. He is going to bring it to pit road. He does have the championship, but Jake Sperry, that is it for car number 11.
Look, it's always a risk when you go too wide there through Ascari. It's a triple apex corner, so you got the left, the right, and the left. And it's so easy for it to go wrong. And Lemonnick pays the price, but you'd have to say it was a risk that was worth taking. He wants to make moves. He wants to gain places. His championship is safe, so why not go out there and try and make the hero move? Not what he wanted to end his season on, but he gave it a go, and you can't really blame him for that in a race like this, Peter.
Certainly exciting. It was very exciting to watch his progress up and down the field. And what it means is that Michele Costantini's in a really strong position. 7.2 seconds to the good right now, and it's a story of what could have been. It looks like he's going to win the last 2 races of the season. And yeah, looking back on so many lost opportunities earlier in the season. Replay here on the bottom of your shot. Lemonnick trying to go right around the outside. It was never really there. Got it all loose onto the gravel, and yeah, just kind of almost spooked out of it a little bit. I think there maybe was room, but you can't describe just how fast these cars are and how quick that's all happening.
And on top of that as well, Kenneth, you might have room on that inside, but you have to make a split-second decision to open up the steering wheel. And the moment you do, the car's just going to absolutely violently reject any movement that you've got when the car's completely loaded up.
Again, it's part of the challenge of racing these IRL1s, and to allude to Peter's point, everything happens at such a rapid pace to where you almost saw there with the lap car. That's a quick decision you make at around almost 200 miles an hour. Through Ascari, you're almost full throttle through there. I mean, you're just making those decisions in split seconds of time. So you look at here, Lemonnick makes the decision. He's going to commit full send, no problem. He does get fine through here, but right about here is where the car just gets a little unsettled, and he does kick it off to the right. I mean, it's just, again, wide cars, margin for error, very small. Don't have a lot of time to make decisions as quickly here. So just couples into a scenario that Lemonnick, unfortunately, won't make the curtain call for this race.
Yeah, so he won't have a chance to finish the season, but I guess he will get an early chance on celebrations then by getting to the paddock a little bit early. I think he's left the party at just the right time, so to speak. Toth, by the way, this is by no means over for second place in the championship. You got Valero, Gianni, Fuller, and Jarl Tyen in this group. Jarl Tyen is probably the one driver who wants to jump through this group with 6 laps to go. Will be 5 when Costantini runs over the line and wants to move forward. There is Gael Valero, number 33 in P3. Every single place he's been looking at. He had an amazing start to the season, taking second, I believe it was, over at, of course, the second to Spa-Francorchamps. Never truly got back up there, Peter.
Well, Jarl Tyen, he's got work to do because David Toth is his closest championship rival, and Toth is up into second place. If Toth was able to hang on to that place, Tyen would lose second place in the championship and would be $2,000 less well off.
He certainly will, but we've got a chance to talk with our champion, Przemysław Lemonek. He stood by with Kenneth Bueno.
Here with Przemysław Lemonek, and we have to talk about that pass entering Ascari. You're out of this race early. I'm sure the emotions certainly aren't negative at all. You still got the championship, but just give us your perspective on the entry to Ascari and looking for that pass.
No, definitely it was, opportunistic pass. If I was still in a championship fight, I wouldn't go for this move. But, this race, my goal was to keep it clean and have fun. And I was sure that I can keep it clean on Ascari, side by side. I've done it many times in practice. But unfortunately it didn't work out. But, it is what it is. I had to make that pass as soon as I could to fight for the podium on this two-stop. I did my best on the strategy. Michele managed very well to stay with the other soft runners at the first stint, so he of course was out of the contention, but I think I could have still fought for the P2 on the line. But yeah, overall I'm not unhappy at all. It was a clean race from me, no stupid moves, no way to get a penalty points, and then I just towed the car because I got a wheel damage by hitting the wall slightly, and I didn't want to cause any risk to endanger myself for penalty points.
But regardless, I mean, you brought a lot of fun to the race so far tonight with that strategy, only driver to go 2 stops in the race. Did you expect that strategy was going to be just push all the way through it on those soft tires? Was that the mindset? Just go as hard as you possibly can to the end of the race?
Yeah, it was a 28 qualifying lap strategy. I was pushing every single lap to the limit of the car. No tire saving, no fuel saving. But yeah, it didn't work out at the end. It could have worked out, but I'm happy with how I managed to drive the first part of the race. Of course, the pass was very risky on Mandel. I'm happy he went unharmed from this. But yeah, it was so much fun to drive this one because it's one of the races where the delta was always green and I was gaining 1 second per lap on everybody, 1.5 seconds. It was definitely a fun feeling to drive this on two-stop.
But regardless, I'm sure that the feeling is still optimistic with the championship that you'll be hosting in just a couple of laps, actually 3 laps until we get to the end of it. So for Przemysław Lemonek, we appreciate the time. Sucks that you're out of this race a little early, but you brought a lot of fun, great action on track. Congratulations on the championship. We'll talk to you a little bit later.
Thank you. See you guys.
That's Przemysław Lemonek, the champion, unfortunately out of the race early, but just like he said in his own words, he was there to have fun, and fun did he have today.
He's had an incredible experience out there. So too has Ben Fuller. What a magical drive he's got at this point. And if he can make this move here, Peter, jump up into second position from dead last, it could be an Apex 1-2 to end the season.
Well, that would be huge. Ben Fuller, I think we wouldn't be speaking out of turn to say that he's had a torrid season, a lot of mistakes, a lot of crashes, but we know how quick he is, and that's kind of been why the crashes have been so disappointing to see. But this race, he's put it right back in order and shown us and reminded us just how impressive a driver he is. From the back to the podium, at the very least, what a drive, what a performance.
Not over yet. He's got to get past the Arnage competition car if he wants second place. Rushing through the very fast left. Then as Eduardo Leo finds himself in the pits, and his day pretty much all but done. So he won't challenge for second place in the championship. It is Toth, it is Tyen, and at the moment it's tops and tails as they now rush through the Parabolica corner and now start what is going to be their penultimate lap here of this race. It's all about moves. They're side by side behind them then. Gael Valero finds himself with Pablo Espes. Here comes Ben Fuller, and he moves to second position on what has been a truly incredible motif of a race for his season.
Why not? With 2 laps to go, Jake Sperry, pull out the last trick that you've got up your sleeve and go for it. Fuller looking for his best finish since Belle Isle, Detroit, where he captured a top 10. The last 3 races have not gone in his favor, though today could be the difference to close off the 2023 season. Only caveat is, Jake, Top has an opportunity to strike back through the Lesmos is really going to tell you the story all the way through the final corner parabolica. So far, Fuller has control.
He does have control, but he's in the front, which is not where you want to be if you're making moves. David Toth has all the cards to play at this moment in time, and he may have a 7 deuce, he may have aces, but the question's going to be, does he have enough to win the hand, which is this race at Monza? Running through, or second place I should say, has he got what it takes to make this move, Peter Mackay?
Well, I think for Toth, he doesn't necessarily have to make this move. Whoa, huge wreck behind it, Ascari.
It looks like that was Kalen Chin. Thomas Simon's caught up in it as well. The last lap is now going to throw a whole boatload of troubles. Big moves trying to defend here from one Mr. Ben Fuller. He'll try and pinch David Toth to the outside, who's almost all the way around here as they hit the brakes in towards Loreto Filo. Fuller just about leaves enough room on the outside, and he'll hold on to that place. There's still places for David Toth to attack here through this next right-hander is going to be key. Fuller's weaving here through this incredible right-hand corner, through the Biasino, and now this will open up Toth to the outside to try and find his move. He still has the angle inside. His door gets shut as he finds himself there in second. Ah, trouble behind, and there goes Espes. There goes Miguel Valero as well. Both of them will go around on the final stages. Xabi Rose will take a fastest lap point to go with it as well. But up the hill, it's all about charge. It's all about what can you do to defend it. There is your race leader. He's been absent in the sense of the front. He's been so dominant with the way he's gone. It is going to be, as he rounds through the Parabolica, Michele Maxima, as he now charges forward. It's back-to-back victories in what has been a sensational run, and the big fist pump is there to go as well. Round the outside of the final corner, David Toth has pulled a worldie here on Ben Fuller. It's not quite the perfect wedding gift for Alex Simpson, team boss of Apex Sim Racing, but what you can say is that it has been an incredible rubber stamp moment, Kenneth, for P2 in the championship for David Toth.
And that's going to be paying off exponentially there for David Toth, being able to grab that second place position in a hard-fought battle with Ben Fuller. What a run to the finish. These guys getting aggressive. They know it's the last race of the season. They know what's at stake. They're going to go for it, even if it costs them the checkered flag and the presence of being there. But Michele Costantini in turns 1 and 2 will celebrate. He's a 2-time winner this season, Jake. That's the 4th 2-time winner this season.
4 2-time winners tells you all you need to know about this season. Michele Costantini's winning margin of 9 seconds is the largest we have seen all season long. David Toth will take a well-deserved second, with Ben Fuller and the Apex Racing team in 3rd position from last on the grid. Love it. Jarl Tyen will take 4th, so it might actually go to count back here, this championship, the 2nd position overall between those two. So you've got to keep an eye out on that. With then Manuel Kubo Torres in 5th, and Matt Emery and co 6th, with Valero Nunez, Gianni, and Daniel Civichaba, along with Carlos Fenollosa, who's there in 11th. Into 12th position is Tamas Simon with Kalen Chin and Xabi Rose 13th and 14th. Charles Sears, P15, his first point of the season comes in the final round. That's an incredible showcase for him in the 499 racing car. Simone Maria Martino, Florian Lebigra, Przemysław Lemonek then finding a retirement then is not what he wanted to end his season, but he gets exactly what he wants in terms of how he has constructed it. But we have a chance to talk to some drivers, and it has been a sensational showcase there as they go through. But there is Przemysław Lemonek, as confirmed, number 11, Drago Racing, Peter. He is your Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series champion.
Przemysław, great to speak to you again, and it's
It's an incredible result here, Peter, in terms of what he's done. Just an amazing showcase of consistency over the season to take it with a round to spare.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely fantastic. Thoroughly deserved. It's been a pretty chaotic championship, hasn't it? We've had so many different winners, and Przemysław just been able to negotiate the chaos the best, and what a job he's done.
What a job indeed. Kenneth Bueno is taking a little look around, and he has found a two-time winner in Michele Costantini.
How about a home race win for Michele Costantini? The Italian gets it done here in Monza. Michele, your second race win of the year, your second win in the last 3 races. I'm assuming that this has to feel monumental despite the championship implications. Just walk us through your emotions, your feelings after the win tonight.
Yeah, it was a great race. Very similar to Red Bull Ring, actually. But yeah, even on the sim, it's nice to win your home race. So shout out to all the Italians watching. And yeah, it was great race. I could once again hang on with the soft runners at the start, which opened me the gap basically. And then Lemanek was on a 2-stop. I could see that from the fuel load at the start. He was pulling away from Gael quite a lot, and he was on high fuel softs. So I just tried to hang on with the soft runners I could hang on with, and build the gap there, and just managed all the gap in the second stage. As I said, very similar to Red Bull Ring.
How important is that to consider the draft, consider the drivers that are working together in terms of the tire strategy? Because as Lemanek came in for a second time, dropped back to 11th, but he was in a huge group of cars while you seemed like you were all by yourself. What were you thinking at that moment in time, just in the whole lore of the strategy in the race?
Yeah, in that moment, I found myself alone in the last laps of the first stint on the mediums. So that was just about hanging on to those tires and make them last until the lap I needed. I have to pit, and then with the softs, I was by myself for the whole stint. So it was quite easy to manage them for the whole time without any kind of pressure from behind. So last stint was quite easy, but basically just got the win by hanging on in the draft with the soft runners at the start.
Last one before we let you go, Michele. One word to describe your season. Go.
Unfortunate, because of all of the everything that happened in the middle/start of the season.
All right, well, nonetheless, it's 2 wins near the end of it. We certainly appreciate your time, and we got to give you the congratulations on the win here at Monza. Big win here in the final race of the season. Hopefully we get to see you somewhere soon on the iRacing space, but until then, congratulations. And now we will bring in our champion for 2023 of the Grand Prix Turn Racing iRacing Series, the Polish man, Przemysław Lemanek, driver of the number 11 for Drago Racing. And Przemysław will talk about the intricacies of Drago Racing as a new team, just absolutely showing out in this first season. But for you, what are you feeling now, knowing that, you've had the championship locked up for one race, but you finally get to savor in all of the hard work you've put in for the year?
Yes, good. I won last week. I tried to make a funny strategy this time. I already felt very good last week. I knew that it's locked, as you said, and this week was all about having a bit of fun. Low on preparation, just decided to send it. It didn't work. A bit of netcode, but honestly, the move was quite risky because of the netcode on the exit there. So I'm happy. Yes.
And what a difference 2 years makes, where in 2021, you finished this series top 12, getting into the next time we were going to run it, ended up being this year. And as you look back on all that you've accomplished, even from 2021, in comparison to this year, what are the feelings you get now that you've become a champion for the very first time?
Yes, it feels good.
All right, I like that. Short and simple. I'm not sure if we're going to get a thumbs up this time around, but I think final question here. Drago Racing, founded in 2023. You guys are a relatively new team. You push forward with these guys, you and Jakub Maciejewski, being able to provide so much fun racing and stellar competition over the year. What does that mean to get that championship for them in their very first year as a group in Sim?
Yeah, it feels very good, I'm happy that Bartek took me into the team and managed to help me with my driving. After the hard beginning of the year, where my contract in RG was terminated, I had to send them the equipment, so I was not having any equipment to race. and I was basically retired because I didn't want to buy myself a new wheel because I thought it's not worth it. But Bartek came in with an idea of a team in May or June, and he sent me the equipment. We signed the contract, and we've been pushing ever since, scoring podiums in Sim Cup, now victory here, winning in different other races, showing we are very strong, and for sure it's not over. We are a young team, but we are already showing a good pace in different events.
Well, honestly, Przemysław, I don't think you're going to have any worries about affording new equipment in the near future because you are $10,000 richer by winning the championship this year. I think our only question we have you before we let you go, what are you going to do with that cash prize?
It's actually 11,000 because I got 1,000 from race winnings as well. And
oh yeah,
yes,
true.
It's I'm gonna do something, maybe buy a new car. I will see.
All right, well, big changing money, a big changing championship. Przemysław, we really appreciate the time. We send our dearest congratulations on the championship. What a year Jake Speria was for Przemysław Lemonek, hoisting the trophy by 14 points over Davidov. He had the race and the championship locked up after last week. Now he gets to feel all of the emotions after winning it all.
I tell you what, he can buy any car he wants on the iRacing service with that much money. That much, I think, is crucial. There is your championship, though. Second and third. Now, that's a crucial one. Davidov was able to hold on by 1 point. He's done brilliantly, but there's more than 1 point at stake when it comes to the IMSA Championship, your Global Esports Championship, over at the Sebring International Raceway in December, Peter. That is going to be frantic.
Yeah, one of my favourite series in the world on one of my favourite racetracks in the world with the best sim races in the world. It's a pretty good recipe, I'd say.
It's got everything you want and then some, so make sure you tune in with us. 2 p.m. Eastern will be the time and the place to jump in with that. But this has been a truly incredible season. There's been some perfection for the commander of Kamionka, Przemysław Lemonek. Bartolomiej Dragowski, you have a simply legendary driver.